Hello, this is PB Park. The first news today I read is the Metabus in the office. So instead of people going to the office physically, people can actually go to the office with the Metabus, which is virtual reality. And you can choose your clothes and you can choose your fashion, and you can even pretty much go to the elevator in the Metaverse. So you go to the office. I'm pretty sure they actually have to pay for the rent, but of course the rent on the Metaverse will be a whole lot cheaper than the real life. And then you can also go to this meeting room and people can put their face on, they can have a meeting. And you can also have a different room, cafeteria, and all sort of things. So basically they don't need as much of this physical office, so they try to minimize or they even get rid of the office at all so that they can save a lot of money. And the managers also say that it's actually really productive, and because a lot of youngsters, especially this MZ generation, prefers that, so more and more people apply for this work because they like this style of work. This became really popular, of course, during the pandemic because people prefer not to go to the office, and they also don't need to commute, and they also don't need to basically be stressed on the street because of traffic jam, or the subway in the morning is like a tragedy. Oh, it's so tough. So there's a lot of beneficial aspects by making this metaverse. And so far, it's not as advanced as the real life, but in the future, the graphic can be more detailed, and just like you work together and have a meeting, like really shortly on the, like in your table or something, or ask a question to your colleague, like, how should we fix this? It can be more sophisticated, so you don't need to even make this official, but basically you are just like you're with the person in physical place. And then I think this metaverse work will be more like a common thing, like norm. So that will be really interesting. The next news is about the inflation of the PhD. The doctor's degree has been increasing. Those people who got those doctor degrees, and it became like 3 times more compared to like 20 years before. And one of the reasons is that when they think about moving to a different job or promotion, if they have a PhD or higher education, then they're likely to get picked or get better salary because I have this degree in detail, so I'm pretty much the expert. Especially it is pretty big in the engineer. So 공학 is engineer, and these days engineering is the best for the job market because all the companies wanna have engineers, because many things turn to those internet-based industry. So whatever we thought before, just the either delivery or whichever things, it all turned to the mobile. So there are a lot more needs to hire those engineers. And because of that, a lot of people also go for that because that guarantees their job position and stability. And this has been always inflation in Korea because the education is the most important thing. So already my generation, the rate of people going to university was over 90%. And now it's quite easy to see someone has a master's degree, and that's not even enough, so many go to the PhD these days. And while they work or they take a break from the work, they go to the PhD. And this also shows or reflects how tough the life is for the youngsters because it's so competitive. It's like not just competitive inside Korea, but they have to compete with the worldwide. So they have to put something more on top of their resume. That's why things get more tough and tough. The last news is about the golfing. So during the pandemic, people have to make a social distance, and golf is a pretty good way to make the distance. Besides, it's also outside, so it's relatively safer. Besides, these days people work less hours, and at night they can go somewhere, and also it's the summertime, so people prefer to do it at night. And South Korea is known for not sleeping city, especially before pandemic. There's so many those restaurants which open 24 hours. There's so many bars open 24 hours. There's a shopping mall open for 24 hours. There's a like PC game room, like those internet cafe which open 24 hours. You name it, there's always those 24 hours things. And it even applies to the golf lounge, where people can play the golf at night. Some of them even open till very, very late hours, like 12 or something, 12 a.m. So yeah, it's very popular, and because of youngsters also jump into playing the golf. So in the past it was more for the business or pretty much like more old people's not hobby, but more like a work. But nowadays it became a lot more the entertainment, the hobby, and sort of things. So I heard that it is really almost impossible to find a tutor to learn how to play the golf. And it's also difficult to book the nighttime golfing. So Korea became one of the three biggest golf industry country after America and Japan. So that is an interesting part. So those are the news I prepared today, and I'll see you next time.